This should be great. Given the history, I want to make sure you're okay with it. Because I wouldn't do it if it would make you feel uncomfortable. Last thing, like I said,
Oh, there we are. Oh, no, it's way off. Scoot over here.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? Look at this turnout. Look at all these lovely faces joining for the book launch party. Thank you guys so much. It's so nice to see everybody. Yep, yep. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, everybody. Wave your hands around. It's so nice to see these lovely faces. I see a lot of people I recognize. Thank you all for signing up and spending your Thursday evening with me. I hope you saw the slideshow of all the great panel of experts who will be joining. I don't. We have around 50 people, well over 200 people registered. We'll see who actually shows up, who actually cares about me. But you guys do. So thank you so much for joining. It's so lovely to see everybody, and it's launch week. So here we go with the two books. Hope you all have them. Hope you all have them there. I can't wait to read your reviews and hear your thoughts and ideas and everybody. I'm so excited. So I think kind of what we'll do tonight is I'll go through a quick little PowerPoint that kind of runs down Grow Now and the books and everything. And then we can do a quick little introduction. We can introduce everybody, all the people that actually showed up and are dedicated to the craft of helping people. And then we could do a fun little Q&A. There's a lot of parents and a lot of educators, and you guys submitted some questions. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun for the great panel of experts. I don't think there's ever been a Zoom in history with this many specialists on at one time. Personally, that's what I personally believe. I don't know if it's a fact, but I personally believe it. There's never been a Zoom with this many genius people on at once. So there's never been a better time to ask your personal, most deepest, darkest questions, and it'll be a lot of fun. I'm so excited. Allison Solomon, thank you so much. Everyone knows Allison Solomon from her videos. It's great to have a specialist like her there. I see the great parents from Anthony's Way here. So nice to see you guys. Hello, hello. It's good to see everybody. It's nice to see all your faces. So I will quickly run through this PowerPoint, break everything down, and we'll go from there. Okay. So, obviously, we are here to discuss these two new books. We have the Executive Functioning Playbook that breaks it all down, the most up-to-date research on ADHD and executive functions, and really real practical tips for parents and educators as well in terms of what to do to bring about best outcomes and improve quality of life based on what we now know about ADHD. Enough of this nonsense about it being an attention disorder, about being about hyperactive kids with ants in their pants who can't sit still, and inattentive kids who daydream. We now know that this is all about executive functions. And as we're going to talk about today, it's not about time management and organization. It's so much more than that. Executive functions are the greatest predictor of success for human beings. So we'll talk all about what those are. And apparently, based on all the numerous emails I keep getting from the publisher, reviews are actually quite important for books. I didn't know that. So if you go onto Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Goodreads, which I just learned is an actual thing, definitely feel free to hop on there. I would assume so. It would be great if you could mute yourself. If not, I'll do it because I have the power to do that. Okay. I love to hear your personal stories and what you're saying in the background, but you know what? I don't think you want everyone to hear it. Okay. And then we have the workbook, the Executive Functioning Playbook in Action. That is a real great workbook for parents to develop that structure they need in the home, the exact structure that helps ADHD kids and teens thrive, and also for educators as well. So we'll break it all down today with these two books. You can find more information at GrowNOWADHD.com. And there's my daughter Eden, who's upstairs probably listening to K-pop. Okay, so quick little shout out to some of the references. Obviously, Dr. Russell Barkley, the best of the best, the worldwide leader, just recently retired, but all thanks go to him. If you read the book, his name is basically on every single page. He's the best of the best. And then we have a fellow speech and language pathologist, just like myself, just like Susan Paul, just like all the great people who are here right now. So many amazing speech and language pathologists. We have Allison Moulton here. We have Rachel, the PTSD SLP. So incredible speech pathologist who I know and love. And of course, Sarah Ward. Sarah Ward is one of the best of the best. Her work has really become a gold standard in terms of executive functioning treatment. And I do quite possibly believe that on the Zoom tonight, we do have a celebrity in the house known as the ADHD dude. I believe he's there somewhere. If you're there, Ryan, speak up and say hello so that you can not spend your entire evening with us. But Ryan
Hello,
is
everyone. Good to see you.
there you go. There he is. There's that voice you all know and love from the greatest podcast in the world. Ryan is the best of the best, one of my best friends. Go to ADHDdude.com. Check out his parent membership site. There is no better parent online course for ADHD out there. The absolute best of the best, real, factual, practical information, scaffolding better behavior, socially smarter, all the great things out there. If I'm forgetting something, Ryan, please add it for me. But really some incredible stuff, and a privilege to have him as my friend and my co-host on the ADHD Parenting Podcast. So go to ADHDdude.com. ADHD Dude on YouTube is really amazing, and check that out. Today, we're talking about the most up-to-date research on ADHD and executive functioning. That's the Harvard Center of the Developing Child and the Stanford Parenting Center. Those groups right there are really on the forefront of all the great research. And of course, Chad. You have to give a nice shout out to Chad because it's an incredible resource to families based on their location, their zip code, their county. A great thing for parents to join. In my personal opinion, it should be the very first thing given to parents as soon as they get an ADHD diagnosis for their child is information about their local Chad chapter. Okay, so we'll break this all down. Executive functioning skills are the greatest predictor of success for human beings. It is executive functioning skills that help you move out of your parents' house, get a job, keep a job, make friends, keep friends, live independently. Not your GPA, not your homework output, not your ability to know the periodic table and the Civil War facts, all of those things. It is executive function skills that help you live an independent life and live a high quality of life because you're able to be independent, managing your emotions, getting tasks done, forecasting yourself into the future, holding long-term goals. That's executive functioning skills. And they become more and more important as kids get older and they are expected to do more and parents are expected to do less. And all you parents joining here tonight, you guys tell me, how's that going? How's that going in terms of doing less and your kid doing more? Because we live in a world today where executive functioning skills, we have stolen so many things from childhood where they don't have the natural organic practice to build these skills. And by those things that we stole from boredom, I'm talking about from childhood, I'm talking about play and boredom. When we stole outdoor, unstructured, unsupervised play from kids, and boredom from kids, we stole great natural organic opportunities for them to strengthen their nonverbal working memory, their visual imagery, their internal self-regulation skills, their future thinking skills. Because we've created a world where really only the present matters. And what is the most stimulating thing right now? What gives me dopamine right now? Instead of what can I do now that helps me later? Or what can I do now based on my past experiences? So in the past, executive functions and ADHD were looked at as this external behavioral-based disorder. With ADHD, it was all about kids who can't sit still and they run around during circle time or they get out of their desk and they're always moving around, they're hyper. And inattentive kids who just daydream and stare out the window. And it was the same thing with executive functions. Executive functioning was just time management and organization. Messy backpacks, messy folders, messy rooms. Everything was external behavioral based. And everything was seen as a purely academic based disorder. If you have ADHD, you're going to struggle in school. And if you need executive functioning skills, you need those skills for school. And even today, we have very powerful doctors and neuropsychs telling parents, oh, only take medication on school days, not on the weekends or not over the summer. It's just for school to pay attention and take notes and get good grades. Everything was about school, school, school. And now we know that's only a very small fraction of the battle. And all you parents know that as well. So all of this heavy focus on external behavioral based led to the rise of so many of this executive functioning coaching, which is a totally unregulated field. Anyone can say I'm an executive functioning coach. There's no licensing behind it or anything like that. And not all, most coaches really focus on this external behavioral based of cleaning out your backpack, organizing papers into folders, sitting with the child while they work to make sure they don't have 75 different tabs open at once, or they're not sneaking YouTube time during homework time. But then what happens when the clock hits the end of that hour and that very expensive adult now has to go home to their own family? Now you have an ADHD child who is highly prompt dependent and only productive in the presence of this coach. And when that coach is being paid to be with that child, not helping, not sustainable. So all of these things, talk therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, counseling, just not evidence-based or recommendations for kids under 19 years of age with ADHD, because the very skills needed to be successful in CBT, in talk therapy, in counseling, are the very skills that are deficient in ADHD. So based on the American Academy of Pediatrics, the CDC, all the great information Ryan puts out there, it is parent training, medication management for kids 6 and up, 7 and up, and internal long-term skill building instead of just accommodations. But it is parent training. It is teaching parents to build the structure, which is all the information we have in the books, all the information Ryan has on his membership site, all the information we have on the podcast. That's what brings about the progress. Okay? So let's break down exactly what executive functions are. And this is a big part of the book for those of you who read it or some of you who skimmed it. So it's out there. Okay. So number one, the first executive skill to develop is self-awareness. And this starts to develop when they're little tiny babies, when they realize, hey, wait a second, when I cry, mom comes and helps me out. When I smile in mom's face, mom smiles back. And kids start to realize, hey, wait a second, I have an effect over my world. I can do things that change my world around me. And then I can do things that change the world for myself. I have power over my world. So the very first skill to develop is self-awareness, that the choices, the language, the things that we do affect others and affect ourselves. It's the first skill to develop, but over time becomes one of the most delayed, especially in the middle school years when we see it really negatively impact them socially. And that lack of self-awareness impacts social relationships with social executive functions in those middle school years, where it's no longer, rah, rah, we're all friends, we're all family. It's a lot more of like cliques and groups of friends and things like that. And the lack of self-awareness really, really negatively impacts them. Then, of course, we have self-regulation. This is really what it's all about. The real push now from the pioneers in this field is to change the name of ADHD to EFDD, Executive Function Developmental Disorder. But another name from Dr. Russell Barkley is self-regulation deficit disorder, because this is what it's all about. And all you parents that are here tonight, this is most likely the number one symptom that you deal with every single day. The ability to regulate your emotions, your language, your body, your behavior in various environments towards various stimuli. So it's really all about that regulation of emotions. And Dr. Russell Barkley has done so much work to bring emotions back into the DSM for ADHD. So it's not hyperactivity, it's the inability to regulate your body. It's not inattentiveness, it's the inability to regulate your mind. It's all about the ability to independently self-regulate without someone else having to act as your executive functioning. Then, of course, self-motivation towards non-preferred, non-screen-based tasks. So does your child or teen have the ability to motivate oneself towards things that are non-preferred, non-screen-based, non-instantly gratifying, which is about 99% of life and 100% of all meaningful tasks, basically, all things that actually help you or are meaningful are not instantly gratifying and require delayed gratification. So can you motivate oneself? And then self-evaluation, the ability to learn from past experiences and apply it to the present so you're not repeating the same mistake over and over and over again. Like having horrible morning routines, not just in September, But now going into January, February, they're still not learning from those past experiences of crazy morning routines or 3-hour homework fights over 5 minutes of homework. So here are the 4 pillars of executive functioning detailed in the book. And the foundation to these pillars is the self-language piece, which helps us utilize these 4 pillars. And self-language is both nonverbal and verbal working memory. Nonverbal working memory is the visual imagery system of the brain, by far the most important. The ability to visualize the past, learn from the past, and gain competence and confidence from past experiences, and the ability to visualize the future so you can know what the future might look like, so you can work towards the images of that future, those mental movies of the future. So it's really your imagination. There's a reason why there's no standardized tests to measure executive functioning, because executive functioning is a fancy term for your imagination. And we use our imagination when we're bored. And we stole boredom from kids and teens today. So boredom is like going to the gym for your brain, because we build that muscle of nonverbal working memory. And verbal working memory is that self-directed talk system, like Ryan describes as the brain coach or the brain voice, the ability to have an internal dialogue with your brain to work towards those images. So these two systems need to work together in harmony. So for example, if the future looks like that, visual imagery, then right now I need to do this, self-talk. And if you go through that system literally millions of times a day, you have strong executive functions. And there are 3 separate zones to executive functioning. There's academic, being a good student, getting your work done. But the most common area of executive dysfunction in ADHD is actually home executive functions. This is self-regulation towards parents and siblings, and the ability to initiate, persist, and complete non-preferred tasks in the home and non-screen-based tasks in the home. So who gets the worst of ADHD symptoms? Is it always the teacher? No, it's actually the parents. It's the unconditional love relationships that they have such a hard time figuring out. So it is the parents. So all those parents out there that call the school and describe their kid at home, and the parent and the teacher says, "Are we talking about the same kid? Your kid's an angel here," because it's home executive functioning that is the most common area of need. Then, of course, social executive functioning, internal perspective taking skills, situational awareness, the true skills, not things like eye contact and things like that, the true skills that help you make friends and keep friends. And of course, this is all broken down in the internal skills model that GrowNOW is founded upon, strengthening those internal pillars and those foundational skills, combining it with parent coaching and parent training, the true foundation to all progress and all growth, and really focusing on strengthening executive functions, independent skills, and quality of life. And it's all about from fading prompts towards independence. How do we do that? This is how we write our goals, from fading prompts towards independence. The child does more, the adult and the teacher does less. So for example, Johnny will utilize his self-regulation safety plan from fading prompts towards independence. None of that 90% accuracy and 3 out of 10 trials as observed by, from fading prompts towards independence, the simplest way to do it. And we follow the prompt hierarchy. The bottom is maximum prompting to moderate prompting to mild prompting, all the way up to the top, building independence so goals can finally have an exit plan. And we can stop seeing IEPs where kids have the exact same goal in first grade that they have in 11th and 12th grade. We can finally move past these things and give an exit plan to IEPs. And there is no better time than now to strengthen these skills because of what we now know about ADHD. These 2 books, the Executive Functioning Playbook, the Playbook in Action, is all about ADHD hope. Parents today are burnt out. They are exhausted. They're getting diagnosed with ADHD themselves. They pick up their phone and they're getting yelled at by 10 different parenting gurus at once about everything they're doing wrong. But they should have lots of ADHD hope because of all we now know. And these skills will never be strengthened through lectures and worksheets and monologues. It's always going to be varied experiences, doing as many different things as possible, and lots of interpersonal relationships. That cannot be understated. It is food, water, shelter, relationships. Not Fortnite friends, not Minecraft friends, real friends. because Fortnite friends and Minecraft friends are not actual friends. Okay. And here's the comfort zone. It's a great identity to help us identify exactly what that comfort zone is and how do we get them into that growth zone. You're not going to go from the comfort zone to the growth zone without persevering through that fear zone first. And this requires both the child and the parent. The child to persevere, not quit, not give up, develop that resilience, and also the coaching on the parent side to not save the child from struggle and consequences. So that's why both have to be involved. And of course, we know we are currently in an absolutely horrible youth mental health crisis. And every single day, the news likes to create all these false boogeymen of different things to blame, like all, food dyes and this and that and all this nonsense. But we all know what it is. We all know what's causing this horrible youth mental health crisis and these rising, very scary statistics about what's happening to these kids. And Jonathan Haidt highlighted it beautifully in his book. And there you have it. There's no other chart in existence to highlight exactly what's happening to today's youth. And it's all about social deprivation. And as you can see from this chart, this has been happening long before COVID. We love to blame COVID because it was unprecedented, but this has basically been happening since Fortnite came out. Okay? And we have both the books right here. Thank you guys for purchasing them. I sent everyone the Executive Functioning Tech Grow Plan so you can develop some screen time structure in your home. Of course, the ADHD Parenting Podcast with that lovely voice you heard earlier from Ryan. So both of us together, please like and subscribe and leave some reviews there. We'll be putting out new episodes every other week and constantly doing that. So big thank you to Ryan for that and everyone who listens and likes and subscribes to our podcast. Obviously, I do a lot of professional development, travel across the country. I just did a huge road trip down to Virginia and Cincinnati and all over the place, doing a lot of training and the book tours. If you would like to have your school trained, feel free to go to the website, email me, and we can get it all set up. And of course, there's all my information there. During our Q&A today from our panel of experts, if you happen to not get your question answered, feel free to email me, call me, text me, go to the website, follow me on Instagram, reach out, send a DM, and we'll all keep in touch. Awesome. Okay. Look at all these people. I love it. All right. So I think what we can do now is introduce our lovely panel of experts. Everyone knows who they are. All these people that decided to come today. I love it. Let me get it right here. And some of them may not be here, but they are in our hearts. Okay. All right. Okay. So here we go. When I show your picture, please say hello. If you're not there, then it's okay. Amy, say hello.
Hello,
There's Amy.
everybody.
Eric Smith, are you there?
Hi, everyone.
Nice, Eric. Eric is the director of our summer camp. Great to have Eric here. Danny, if they're not here, it'll just go by. Gary's definitely not here. Ben, the director of our Lancaster branch. Joe, the director of North Carolina. Aaron, the director of our Los Angeles branch, who's definitely in a session right now. Stacy, I saw Stacy's face.
Hi.
Stacy doing our outdoor social groups. Courtney, I saw Courtney.
Hi.
Courtney, the Reading Confidence Project. Jake, is Jake here?
Yep, hello.
All right, Jake, our young adult independence. Mark? No, Mark. Mom and dad support groups. And Ryan, is Ryan still here?
I am here.
All right. Nicole, the author of Free to Fly.
Hi.
This is going a little too fast. I apologize. Let me see if I can find a way to slow this down. So there's Ryan. Ryan said hello. Is Nicole here?
I'm here. Yes, I said hi.
Awesome, Nicole. Awesome. Nicole is the author of Free to Fly, a fantastic book. Free to Fly, The Secret to Fostering Independence in the Next Generation. Find her at NicoleRunyon.com. Carrie Ebert, is Carrie here? Carrie is the old co-host of the Education Chapter Chat podcast, one of the best SLPs of all time. Kristen, I know Kristen's here. I saw that face.
Hi.
Awesome. How you
Hi.
doing?
I'm good.
Thank you so much for coming. Find her at KristenMcNeely.com. LMFT BCBA. Dr. Jessica Hockman. Don't know if she's here. Find her at
I'm here.
Ask.
That's it.
Oh,
Hi,
excellent.
thank you. What a nice introduction. Thank you.
Of course. Thanks so much for coming. Find
Of
her
course.
at AskDrJessica.com. I had the absolute privilege of being on her podcast and chatting with her and meeting with her. Absolutely fantastic. A board certified pediatrician. Just the best of the best. Allison Solomon, ADHD specialist. I know Allison's here.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for coming. AllisonSolomon.com. Allison Moulton, the SLP, the best of the best. Where is she?
Hi, everyone.
Thank you so much for coming, Allison. Allison is one of my good friends from the Chapter Chat days. So good to have her. Arlene Rubin, the director of Good Talking People over in Tenafly, New Jersey, another fantastic SLP. Rachel is definitely here. Where's Rachel?
Hi, Mike.
Thanks.
Congrats.
Thanks so much for coming. PTSDSLP.com. Rachel is one of the best SLPs ever. Find her basically anywhere these days. And she also does lots of professional development as well. So reach out to her. And Susan Paul. Susan, say hello.
Hi, everybody. Congratulations, Mike. This is great.
Thank you,
Thank you for
Susan.
having me.
Of course. Susan, the owner of Communiverse. And I don't see where is Communiverse located? Where's the home base?
Home base is Conshohocken, and I prefer to be called the founder. I have a thing with words.
Oh, sorry about that. The founder of Communiverse.
Thank you.
And SLP has a thing with words. What do you know? There you go. So find her at communiverse.biz. Check her out. Awesome. So the panel of experts is here. This is a good time. I don't want to keep you guys too late on a Thursday, but if any, where are the outdoor social groups located? A question we have here. Right now, they are located in Downingtown, Pennsylvania, at the home of Stacy, in her incredible backyard, one of the greatest backyards of all time. So definitely reach out to us if you live in the Pennsylvania area. If not, we do have our summer camps. We can reach out to Eric for that to learn more about our summer camps. We have another question here. What's the reception like at schools where you speak and talk about the screen harms in schools? So that actually recently happened this past weekend when I was talking. First, I trained the staff during the day, and then I trained the parents at night. And some of the staff was there during the parent session, and parents were asking lots of questions about ed tech and all those sorts of things. And I am not going to step away from my values just because I'm being paid to be there. I have no problem explaining that ed tech is the worst thing to ever happen to education ever. There's a new book out called The Digital Delusion by Dr. Jared Horvath, who is amazing. You might have seen clips of him presenting to Congress with Emily Churkin, the screen time consultant. Ed tech is absolutely horrible. And let's be honest, who are the biggest victims in this mess? ADHD kids and teens, the kids who can't regulate you're going to ask ADHD kids and teens to listen to lectures about history and chemistry and atoms and protons and neutrons and not want to watch YouTube and not want to play games and not want to download a VPN to hack the school firewall. Ed tech is absolutely horrible. And it's one of the worst things to ever happen. And hopefully Utah now is starting to reverse course. And hopefully we go back to more basic ed tech and get rid of the one-to-one laptops, because that's been an absolute disaster. We have another question here, and I would love for the panel of experts to have a chance to speak so everyone could get to know them. I think people are already tired of hearing me talk. So the first question, if you are from the panel of experts, feel free to start speaking and answer the question for me. What are your schools doing about helping you reduce streaks? I do not know what that means. Does anyone know what that means? Or does Coach Dave want to explain what that means?
Sure, I can try. Hi, Mike. Thanks for running this session. This is really cool.
Of course.
I work as a coach with a lot of students with anxiety and ADHD, and they are up very late at night because they want to keep their streaks going on social media. So TikTok and Snapchat and messaging, like it goes late into the evening. It's like you got to make sure you have to keep your streak alive when you're contacting one of your friends through a social media app, and it goes really late, and it's a huge distraction. We're seeing it a lot in the schools that I'm connected with. So I'm wondering if any of the experts have advice on how to reduce the need and the frequency?
Oof, that is an excellent question, Coach Dave. Thank you so much. I'm going to leave that to the incredible panel of experts. Please unmute yourself and show us just how smart you are.
I'll take this one. Hi, I'm Nicole. Thanks for having me, Mike. I was a child therapist and now I'm a parenting coach. And the reason for that is because I think parents ultimately need to step into their authority regarding screen time, particularly. I mean, there's a lot of issues, but in this case that you're mentioning about the streaks, I don't think this is the school's issue to address. I think parents need to make sure that their kids don't have their devices in their rooms at night. And I think that parents are really struggling to say no right now. And so I think we need a lot of really strong professionals like everyone on this call. And Mike is such a great example of that, to really help parents to acknowledge that it's their responsibility.
Beautifully said. We need more kids who are free to fly, right, Nicole?
That's right.
Anyone else? Any other incredible experts that are here that want to answer that? Or did Nicole put it absolutely perfectly? Because I think she did.
Mike, I'd love to weigh in because I
Sure.
think there was something really important you said. What did the American Pediatric Association recommend for children with ADHD under the age of 18? And that is parent training. Because unfortunately, we have become the generation of parents who've stopped being parents. We think that rules and boundaries are like the kiss of death, and we need to be friends with our kids. And I think with, as you mentioned, the mental health crisis that our teens and tweens are dealing with, particularly in the ADHD community, we have to step up. We have to be willing to say no. We need to be willing to sit in the emotional tsunami. And we really need to step up and be parents. And parents have boundaries, and parents can deal with no. And parents say, you know what, in our house, we don't have cell phones at 9 p.m. And I don't really care if your friends or everybody else does. That's on their parents. So I think what's happening is that a lot of parents are expecting the school to be the parent. And I think that we need to step up and be the parents.
Allison, absolutely, perfectly stated. Love it.
Can I add one more thing, Mike?
Absolutely.
I think one of the issues, in particular for moms, is that we have now become so accustomed to this messaging that in order to be kind to our kids and be, the loving mom, that equates to permissiveness. And social media has done moms no favors. And in my practice, I find the parents that have the most difficulty with holding boundaries are those who have had a really difficult history either in their childhood or with their partner. And so they feel like they have to swing the pendulum the other way in order to kind of make up for that. And so a lot of the messaging on social media just really needs to shift, and we need to stop thinking about boundaries as like the hard line and really talk about how boundaries are that authoritative, evidence-based, best outcomes type of model. So, oh, you're muted, Mike.
We all knew that was going to happen. Yeah, awesome. Anyone else want to pile on? Everyone who answers a question, I will put your stuff in the chat. And if I spell it correctly, please correct me. I spell it incorrectly, please correct me. Coach Dave, excellent question. These streaks are absolutely ridiculous. They are completely meaningless. And it would be nice if kids would be more motivated to do things that actually benefited them. And it's just further proof that these social media people who create these social media apps want kids on them as much as possible. This big tech realized we are going to make our most money off of kids because they can't regulate themselves. They don't have fully developed brains. And we're actually going to make our most money off of the neurodiverse. So when we find a neurodiverse student who's lacking in self-regulation, who easily gets addicted to things and gets very dysregulated, they're the ones that are going to be on it. And let's be honest, attention is the currency. If you look at all of the things that are the most addictive, Fortnite, Roblox, Minecraft, Snapchat, YouTube, they're all free. They're all free to download. They're not. So how are these people making their billions and billions of dollars? Because attention is the currency. The more time you spend on these apps, the more money they make. And there's a reason why the people who make these apps and make these games don't give it to their own kids and send their kids to screen-free schools. All they care about is the rest of the world becoming addicted, and it's becoming a very, very serious problem. Let's find another question. Also, if anyone wants to speak their question out loud, parents, if anyone wants to say it out loud and not have me read it, can two siblings with ADHD constantly fighting give each other dopamine tsunamis? Love that phrase. That's from the book. So someone actually read the book. Nice work. Give each other dopamine tsunamis, or is it mostly between parent and child? Who's taking that one?
I'll just say that's my question, and if I stay unmuted, you'll hear my kids fighting.
But this is from Courtney, the director of the GrowNOW Reading Confidence Program. Excellent question. Who wants to take this? I guess I'll do it. Yes, ADHD siblings will fight each other. Absolutely, because that's all part of that unconditional love relationship. The ADHD brain is very black and white, very rigid, very rules based, and in some ways, obviously they like to break the rules, but it's very, very black and white. So this whole magical, wonderful concept of unconditional love is very hard for them to understand. Because out of all the members of the family, let's be honest, who gets the worst of ADHD behaviors? That's a trivia question for you all. Who gets the worst of ADHD behaviors, everybody?
The mom.
The moms. Moms. Why? If you grab a dictionary or the dictionary app and type in, there you go, and type in unconditional love, it's going to be a picture of a mom. Let's be honest. So moms get the worst of ADHD behaviors because to the ADHD child, it's basically like, hey, wait a second. Here's this person in my life that I could say absolutely unspeakable things to and say no to everything she asks me to do. And she's still going to tuck me in at night and pay for my phone and let me scroll and get me my favorite snacks and give me the Wi-Fi password. So they don't really learn social reciprocity when there's that unconditional love factor. And sometimes parents do a great job of ignoring negative attention seeking. So what's the best way to get a rise out of someone and get a dopamine tsunami is to go after the sibling. And, parents who are now getting all these parenting gurus yelling at them every single day about the perfect parent, the perfect kid, and how to be the perfect parent. Every time kids fight each other and their sibling fighting, parents now think they're failing. Why are my kids fighting? Why are they going after each other? Why are they attacking? Why is there so much negativity between my son and daughter or my son and all of those different things? When sibling fighting is 100% normal. Every single person on this Zoom call who had a sibling growing up fought with them a lot. And look how great you all turned out. You all made it to a Zoom on time. So it all worked out. So sibling fighting is normal, and it's a great way to get negative attention seeking. Okay. Are there any resources to help an older sibling understand his younger brother's struggles? From Annie. Excellent question. And I believe some of the panel of experts have some great resources. Feel free to share. Okay, fine. Just anyone? Anyone want to share?
In your book on page 92, 93, we read that to our 14-year-old son who really just has a hard time understanding the two younger ones with ADHD. And, why do you guys sometimes just ignore when they're doing things? And why are they acting like that? And, he was old enough for us to kind of read through these few pages and, he's still frustrated, but it helps him understand the why a little bit. So I'd say if your child's old enough, I think Mike's book is accessible enough for sure teens who can understand some of the why behind the behaviors.
So leave it to the director of the reading program to give actual page numbers of resourceful information. Excellent work, Courtney. I love it. Thank you. I didn't even know what the book said that, to be honest with you. That's pretty cool. Nice work. Round of applause for Courtney, everybody. How can we arrange PDs for schools in Australia? Can this be done online or in person? Little fun fact about me, I actually lived in Australia for almost a year back in 2007, so a long time ago. And I would love to come back. There's been a lot of talks about me coming back. I've done tons of virtual trainings for schools in Pennsylvania. So I would love to come back, and I would love to bring the entire GrowNOW team with me, and the panel of experts as well. So let's make that happen. As kids prepare for entering the workforce after high school, what resources are there for those whose biggest EF struggle is motivation? Many resources require the student to want the help. Excellent point. That's pretty much one of the biggest problems with college is you have to go and self-advocate at the student center to get the accommodations, but you can't self-advocate unless you already have strong executive functions. So this is a fantastic question. So what should young adults do when they're struggling with motivation and need help? Who's taking that one?
I can tell you, Mike, what I do is when families ask me this question, I refer them to GrowNOW, because, one of the things I think parents need to understand is that a lot of this does have to do sometimes, and this is not blaming, but it has to do with, parental accommodation. So parents making the child, or I should say young adult's life, pretty easy for them. So when their life is pretty easy, a little hard for them to be motivated. So I believe if they can work with somebody, outside the family who can help them, and then the parents get some support as well, and that's what makes GrowNOW unique. That's really the best combination. So the young adult working with a coach trained in executive functioning, and the parent also working with the same coach so they can support them and help generalize things and create that structure that young adults with ADHD often need to kind of get that push and define that internal motivation. Your mic's off, Mike. There you go.
Sorry, it's so embarrassing. Who could have answered that question better than Ryan himself? Absolutely perfect, as always, the best of the best. That's why he is the best of the best. So big thank you to Ryan. Everyone loves Ryan. The next question, how do we manage when all of the homework is on the iPad? So my answer to that question is you smash the iPad with a sledgehammer. But Kristen answered it way more politically correct than I would. If they have a 504 IEP, you can ask for printed copies. Guided access, which is fantastic. If you are a parent who does not know what guided access is, type that into Google or YouTube immediately and learn about the benefits of guided access. You can do it on all Apple products, which is fantastic, and really should be on all young kids' phones if you have to give it to them. I have a 15, almost 16-year-old sophomore boy. He struggles with managing himself online at school, YouTube for hours. If I hope everyone here knows just how common that is. I've had the privilege of observing over 300 classrooms over the past 2 years, and basically every single time there's kids on YouTube, literally the entire time. You may think your child's at school, not on YouTube. They know how to go on YouTube all day long and then clear their search history. So this is a common occurrence. And the saddest part is when they do it during unstructured time, when they should be talking to their peers and having relationships and being kids and being teens. This is why so many kids are struggling socially because, let's all look back on our school history and our experiences from school to first grade to 12th grade. And look at all your memories. Look at all your core memories. Do you remember when I loved that lecture that day. I learned so much. Or do you remember the field trips, the hallways, the cafeteria, the gym, all of those sorts of things? So we need that socialization time. Okay. So there we go. We're running around in the background there. How do I start to prepare him for full access to the internet after high school? Who's taking that one? So obviously your son is not ready for a computer yet. So you need to opt out of that school Chromebook immediately. All behavior is communication. And with their behavior, they are proving that they are not ready to have a laptop yet. Them being on YouTube for hours at school is proof. and you have legal right to opt out of it. So please reach out to me. I'll send you information about all of your rights and all of your legal rights about what you're able to do there. What's everyone's best tips for a 5-year-old child? Let me see what happened here. What's everyone's tips for a 5-year-old child before we've hit the middle school or teenage stages in their life? So, 5-year-old, panel of experts, what are some of the best tips for a 5-year-old? Oh, and we have some of the answers here. Kristen said, get really comfortable establishing boundaries. Susan said, provide choices within your ramifications. Nicole, don't introduce tech. Absolutely. Keep tech as far away until they're 30.
Shit, Dylan.
Yes. Let the child play. And Sarah, I would love to hear more tips from the panel on setting appropriate boundaries, consequences for these ages when we know there's so much they don't have yet. So that's a big part of it, is a lot of parents have been educated on this whole concept of the ADHD brain is 3 to 5 years behind. So knowing their brain is behind in development, how do we focus on consequences and natural consequences and things like that, knowing their brain is behind? So I think this is a fantastic question for the panel of experts.
Hey, dude, come.
I just wanted to mention someone else just commented extracurriculars that are social with other authority figures other than you and outdoor play. I think that is a great way to start. And something I think that was mentioned with best tips for a 5-year-old, explaining.
Don't
I
end
have
it.
Oh, sorry, someone's talking. I have a lot of friends with kids around this age, and they are already talking about what is expected in that middle school age, whether that is we don't do phones until 18 years old, 17 years old. What's also helpful is that they have a group of parents that they've also kind of committed to this contract of, hey guys, we are not having phones until 16 or social media until 18. So that they know what to expect. That buy-in is really important. Even if they're 5 years old, you can say, hey, we're not getting phones because I know that you all know someone whose 5-year-old has an iPhone. I know that you know someone who has a kid with an iPhone. So as long as you are talking about it and letting them know what to expect and reiterating it, I think that is a great way for them to know what to expect. And that way, hopefully some of the blow-ups in middle school and high school about like, well, you said that I could have a phone when I was 11. You can kind of avoid that. So hopefully some other experts can weigh in on that as well.
I see a great question here for Kristen McNeely. Catherine said, any tips for school refusal in a teenager? Kristen is a national school refusal expert. So that's a great question for her. I hope she's still here. Is she still here? Maybe she signed off. Anyone else do any school refusal? Any comments? Any work with school refusal and how to assist with that? Obviously, one of the biggest things with school refusal is you have to focus on your self-awareness and ask yourself, is the home so much more enticing than school? When they're home, is your home basically looking like a casino? Is there an Xbox, a PlayStation, a Switch, constant internet access, all of those things? You're going to have school refusal if they are able to stay home and be on screens. So that's always step number one. And since the rise of screens, we have seen massive increase in overall school refusal numbers. So kids being able to stay home and be on screens is an absolutely huge part of them not wanting to go to school, because home is just so much better than school because you have free reign to be in the virtual world. Jordan opted her 5-year-old out of the iPad at school. I hope more parents do it too. 100,000%. I'm making it my goal in 2026 to work very closely with Andy Liddell at the EdTech law firm, Emily Churkin, Jared Horvath. We have a great panel coming up on February 2nd to empower parents to opt out and present this information to their staff. We all want fast results to feel progress. What is a reasonable time to start seeing results, or is it a continual work in progress? So if anyone even attempts, if you ever call a therapist, a coach, anyone, and they give you a time frame of how fast to see results, that is one of the biggest red flags you will ever see, especially before they ever meet your child, get to know them, learn your situation, any of those things. So anything that's like, oh, 7-week program, your kid will have these skills, or if you call up and say, oh, after this many months, you'll see progress. Yes, we all want fast results, but we have to remember these are kids, these are human beings. This is not like hiring someone to change your roof or mow your lawn or or something like that with a time frame. So anyone giving you a time frame for when you should see results, which is not, it's not really results, it's your kid growing and gaining skills. That is one of the biggest red flags you'll ever see. And I get asked that question every single day for the past 7 years, and I've never answered it once, and I never will. What else do we got? Anyone want to say a question? That'd be cool to hear another voice besides mine. Any suggestions for parent coachings in South Florida, Miami? I know there's a bunch of you that we can engage over video conferences. Well, Rachel, what do you?
I am in South Florida.
There
Well,
you go.
Mike's trying to get me out of Florida, so we'll see how long that exists for.
That's true.
Yeah, I can send you a couple people one. Yeah, I'll send you some resources, okay?
Perfect. So all those great contacts, everyone. Rachel, type in your contact info so everybody has it. If you are from the panel of experts and you would like people to have your website or your contact information, please type it in so everyone here has it. Please share all that information so people can email you, contact you. I would love for people to have as many great, real, viable resources as possible. So everyone, Anthony from Anthony's Way, please type in your website address so people can check you guys out. An incredible program at Anthony's Way. Love those incredible family, incredible team, incredible work they're doing. So everyone, please click on the Anthony's Way website link. They're the best of the best. Yep. Allison Solomon on Instagram, everybody. If you did not have your question answered tonight, please feel free to email me. Please feel free to email any of the incredible panel of experts you see here today. Reach out to the GrowNOW team, all these incredible people. Juan and Rachel already connected. So there you go. So that was the purpose of this. We'll do one more question here. Senior in high school, going off to college in the fall. Do you continue coaching when kids in college? Of course, absolutely. We have an entire college success program, a young adult program. And that's honestly when they're going to need it the most because you're no longer going to be there to tell them to wake up in the morning, to tell them to put their phone away, to constantly verbally prompt them and watch over them. They're going to be on their own. America now leads the world in first semester college dropouts because of the jump from 12th grade senior year to freshman year of college is the biggest jump in their life in terms of executive functions needed. Who's there to say, put your phone away and go to the library for a few hours, get your work done before the weekend? Check your school email, get some sleep, get some exercise, eat some good food, go to the student center for your accommodations, all of these different things. And most accommodations and resources at college require you to self-advocate, which these kids struggle with. And many of them don't want to feel different and don't want to feel like they need those sorts of things. So yes, absolutely. College coaching is absolutely huge. So check that out and check them out from our incredible panel of experts. If anybody else wants to type in their contact information, Rachel said, also, please take advantage of community college. Absolutely. We absolutely live in a world now where community college needs to be incredibly respected. The whole concept of colleges as this hierarchy is just going away. I think people recognize that colleges are a business and all of the student loans and all of the mess out there. It's not so much about where you get your education, where you get your degree. It's more about your people skills, and it's people skills that are the skills of the future. Can you have a conversation? Can you maintain a topic? Can you work as a team? Can you be flexible? People skills and communication skills, not being able to code, not being able to do Excel spreadsheets, and not all of those things. It is communication, people skills, and executive functions that are the skill of the future. So incredibly important. Allison said, for parents wanting to know what websites their children are on at school, inquire if you can get that sent to you. Absolutely. Susan saying thank you. Susan, you're the best. Every single person who came today, please share your contact information. It was so kind of this incredible panel of experts. Like I said, there's never been a Zoom before with this many experts in one place.
Mike, I just want to say thank you for all you do. Appreciate all your help. We are sharing the book with all the families that we're helping, and they just love it. So appreciate you putting it together, and appreciate all your help. And the families we're referring to you, we got more coming. So
of course.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Did you share you shared your website and everything on here?
Yeah, we did.
Yep.
Thanks.
Anthony'sRoadToKindness.com, one of the best organizations out there. Unbelievable mom and dad right there, doing incredible work and really, going around spreading this concept of kindness towards these ADHD kids and teens that are at the mercy of their impulses every single day at school. And there is nothing an ADHD kid or teen wants more than to be accepted and have as many friends as possible. So in terms of school and getting good grades, they get these ridiculous labels of lazy and not interested and those kinds of things. But a lot of their behaviors, people tend to see those and say, oh, he just wants to be on screens all day. He doesn't want friends. He doesn't even need those friends. ADHD kids are so incredibly socially motivated, and they just want kindness and understanding that sometimes they do things that are outside of their control. And no one spreads more kindness to the ADHD world than the team at Anthony'sRoadToKindness.com. Check them out. They are the absolute best. So thank you everyone for all your kindness for joining. I can't believe we actually did an hour all day today. I was like, hey, it'll be 15 minutes. But yes, we did it. We did a great job, and I can't thank you guys all enough. Please get on Amazon, Goodreads, Barnes and Nobles, leave reviews for the book. Apparently reviews are very important and help publishers get them or books get them, or I don't even know what it does. But the reviews are very important. But I can't thank you guys enough for joining. It means so much to me. This is something I'll never forget. And reach out to me with your thoughts and your feedback on the books, or if you didn't get your question answered. Thank you so much to the incredible panel of experts and all the amazing work you guys are doing. And everyone keep in touch. Thank you guys so much for joining. Bye, everybody. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike. Great job.
Thank you.